If you have a 5-line profile in human design, meaning you are a 2-5, 3-5, 5-1, or 5-2 profile, and you want to know what that means, well, you are in the right place because we're going to talk about it right here, right now. So in this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the 5-line means and what it means for you, what it means if you have the 5-line as the first number in your profile versus the second number in your profile, and then we're going to go into a little bit about each of the unique 5-line profiles. But before we do, I just have to say that whenever I wear a baseball cap in one of my videos and I'm talking about human design, I just feel like I'm channeling the founder of human design a little bit because he was a 5-line actually. He was a 5-1 like myself, a very different chart otherwise, very different person otherwise. But I just think it's funny because he was always wearing some kind of baseball cap. If he wasn't wearing that, he was wearing a cowboy hat. But anyway, so the 5-line. What is it? The 5-line is known as the heretic in human design. And if that sounds bad, well, sometimes it is a little bit. But I mean, really, what is good or bad? But thinking makes it so. But no, the 5-lines experience and the energy of the 5-line is not inherently negative. I do not want to imply that in any way because it's not true. And we'll get to why it's called that in a little bit. But if you're still like, I don't like that name, give me something else. Another name for the 5-line is quote unquote the general. So that's the archetype that the 5-line is also here to play because it carries that energy. It's the authority, the leader, the problem solver, the practical problem solver, the person who gets involved and fixes something. It's the messenger. It's the change maker in many ways. It's a line that's known for carrying a lot of impact with what it says and what it does. So the 5-line is here for a few things. It is here to offer ideas, solutions, messages, fixes, whatever. But more importantly, it's here to do that on a broad scale. So it's here to externalize something and actually to quote unquote universalize something. So share it with as many people as possible, make it universal as much as this person can in their lifetime. And because of that, the 5-line is really here to interact with a lot of different kinds of people in its life and just like a lot of people in general. It's important for how it's going to play out its purpose. And what's interesting is that most of the people that the 5-line is going to make its greatest impact on are strangers, people that they don't know very well. Because unlike the 4-line, which is here to create deep connections, really like get their roots down in the soil and just like connect with the people they know, love, and trust and build that up. And that's how they create a foundation to work from. With the 5-line, it's not really the case because we're here to reach so many people through whatever it is we do that it's not about those like longer term relationships. Not to say that you can't have a long term relationship if you're a 5-1. Someone asked me that in a reading once and she was a 5-line. She was like, does this mean I'm never going to have a long term partner? And I was like, no, not at all. And I'm a 5-line who's had friendships that have lasted for many years. Interestingly enough, what this means is that in terms of what you're doing and how connections with others are involved in that, like you're going to be the kind of person who is here to like go into a situation, fix it, and then kind of move on. Like you've done your thing. That's how you make your impact. And the people that you do that for, you might not even really know that well because it's not about creating these like really stable bonds. Like you don't need that as a 5-line. For example, I'm a 5-1, and when I would give human design readings, I would like never hear back from people unless I reached out to them. I'm like, how are you doing? They're like, oh my God, great. I got a new job. I left my toxic partner. I moved to a new city. And I'm like, were you ever going to tell me, right? Like I never hear back from them, which is fine. It's kind of like 5-1s can love to be one and done, like you've done your thing. And then my friend and former coach is a 4-6 profile, and she'll give someone a reading, and then if they click, it's like you are in her life, and we're still friends. She gave me a reading like 5 years ago, and we're still friends. And what's interesting about the 5-line, and the reason why it can just kind of slide into a situation, do its thing, and then peace out, is because of how the 5-line aura is structured. So the best word that I've found for the 5-line aura, in my opinion, is misty. It's unclear. It's kind of like very fluid. You could say it's like this ether almost. It's not something that people can really sink their hooks into. You yourself may not feel like you can sink your hooks into that part of your profile or personality or being. Like for me as a 5-line profile, I'm like, am I even here? Like, what is this? And this can come off as a little mysterious. Like other people are like, what's going on? What's happening there? But most of the time, what happens is that the 5-line gets projected onto very easily. So other people will have something, an image of the other person that they're like, this is you, and put that on the 5-line. And first off, Everyone projects and everyone is projected onto. This is the human experience. No one escapes this field of projections that they call it in human design. So it's not just the five line who goes through this. Of course not. And by the way, something to know is that each of the lines of the profile, like we all experience these because these are universal archetypes. So we each have this in us, but some of us are going to have this more at the forefront of our experience. And so for the five line, they have this more at the forefront of their experience if this is their profile, just to know. But the thing about the five line profile is it's like built to be projected onto. It's built to be basically whatever the other person needs it to be for whatever reason they need it to be that. And this is necessary because it's crucial to the five line being able to slip into situations, be like, I have a solution. It may be different. It may be weird. It may be a little controversial, but I have a solution because I can see this isn't working and I'm going to help out with this. And when they have an aura like they do, or like we do, then other people are more likely to let them in to do their thing because they're like, oh my God, you're exactly what I need. So the positive side of these projections is one, you get to play out your purpose and do your work more easily. But two, also because a lot of those projections are positive. Like the five line can tend to get along with a lot of different kinds of people and be really well liked by a lot of different kinds of people because they're easy to project onto and like make your best friend and make the perfect person and be like everything you've ever wanted in a person. At least short term, before that projection kind of wears off and people are like, oh, I guess you're maybe not exactly what I thought. But like when you need to be seen as the competent person, the authority, the person with something to say who's going to fix things, that's really helpful. And also it's really nice. It's a really nice experience, I have to say, sometimes when you walk into a room or a party as a five line and everyone's like, you're amazing. Oh my God, I love her. Don't you love her? Yeah, we all love you. You sparkle, you glow. Maybe that's just me. But then on the negative side, you might be ahead of me here, then people can project these like demonized, villainized versions of yourself that are completely baseless, have zero foundation in who you are, simply because that's what they want you to be or kind of what they need you to be, in this big cosmic game that we play of soul growth and growth of consciousness, whatever, right? Like at the point that they're at, like this is how they see you, and in some way or another it is serving them. Or something that happens to a lot of five lines is that like they'll do one thing and then suddenly like that's who they are to everybody. Like that's just their identity. And this happens a lot for 2/5s and 5/2s because they have like a double projection field on them. But it's like you have one bad day and people are like, there goes that mean person. There goes that mean five line just out to ruin everyone's lives. And it's why you meet a lot of five lines who by my age, they get super cagey. You ask them, I once asked a five line, I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? He was like, why? What kind of question? Because we never know if it's like this opportunity for someone to take what we've said and flip that or take it out of context or spread a rumor about us, and again, these are things that can happen to you if you don't have a five line in your chart. I'm not saying we can also get a little victim-y sometimes, but it is a really common experience for five lines to look back and be like, that was not fair. Like the teacher told me to shut up and stop talking when I was the only person in the group that wasn't talking, but they thought it was me because one time I talked. That kind of thing. And then it's also really common for like time to pass and other people to look back and be like, yeah, we did treat you like shit. that was super unfair. But honestly, at least in my experience and the experience of most five lines I've spoken to, what tends to be more painful and more heartbreaking and more of a burden is the fact that people will put these positive but incorrect projections onto a five line about who they are and also what they will do for the other person. And they can really build it up and just assume that that is reality, that that's what the five line person is like, when really the five line person could be nothing like that. So people can really put five lines kind of on this pedestal or put heavy expectations on them for the five line to fulfill. And when the five line in one way or another doesn't do that, then the other person feels very disappointed and might be very upset and angry and blame the five line. And then the five line themselves might be really disappointed with themselves for not being able to fulfill this like thing that the other person wanted, that they may not have even known the other person wanted. They're like, this was never made clear to me. And that is where the label, the heretic, comes from. It's, about other people burning you at the stake when you don't provide them with a solution that they thought you had, or don't do something for them that they wanted, or cannot fulfill a responsibility that they thought you could, or just weren't the person that they thought you were. Like you're not living up to their idealized version of you. And that's really upsetting to them. And I know that this can sound kind of like a shit deal to some five lines, right? Like, I don't want to be victimized my whole life, but I'm not saying that you will be. I want to make it very clear that is not necessarily the case, and you are not powerless in your experience. You really, really are not. There are things that you can do to have a better experience as a five line. Trust me. Because as five lines, unlike our harmonic line or our sister line, the two line, we are aware of when a projection is incorrect, especially as you get older as a five line. You start to really be able to sense the discrepancy between what is true about yourself or what feels authentic and like you and what somebody else is projecting onto you. So if somebody is projecting onto you that you will be able to do this task and you're like, where are you getting that? You need to learn to trust yourself as a five line, and following your strategy and authority, easiest way to do that, easiest way to know what's right for you. But you need to be able to trust that and stay true to yourself, and as often as possible draw boundaries and say, that's not me. I'm not the one. Sorry. It ain't me, babe. And avoid doing stuff for other people just because you want to be their hero, you want to be liked, and you want to help them, which that's what five lines want to do. They want to help. They want to make things better. They want to solve problems, but not every problem is here for you to solve. And also not every projection is here for you to lean into. Right? So it might feel nice that someone likes you and is saying all these nice things about you, but if you're like, that's built on shaky ground, that's built on no ground, actually, it's completely baseless, what you're telling me about myself or expecting from me, then you need to have the strength to say, not me. And then if people still get mad at you, you have kept your side of the street clean. If that's their shit, that's very obviously their problem. And I'll tell you another thing. As we mature as five lines, as one does, you will start to see the gift of being a five line because we have insight into the field of projections and how projection works much more than other people. So, at my age now, I'm like, it's not personal. Nothing could be personal. This is the case for everyone, but as five lines, because we will see projections where we're like, where are you coming up with that? That makes absolutely no sense. We get to be privy to how ridiculous projections are in the first place and how none of it is based on objective truth. It's all subjective. It's all from the other person's perspective. And we also are more well equipped to understand that like no one is here really for everyone. The five line can be liked by a lot of people, but then it can be hated by just as many people. But the main thing really is trusting that you know when it's a projection and when it's not. And it can take some experimenting, it can take some experience, but the best thing to ask yourself to know the answer as five line is, what would I do if no one got mad at me? Right? What if everybody was happy with me no matter what I did? Then you aren't going to start taking things on in order to just make other people happy. Or on the other hand, you could ask yourself, like, what if literally anything I did, people are going to be mad? And so I can see that it's kind of ridiculous trying to control their responses. So that's the five line. Now, what does it mean if you have it as the first number in your profile versus the second number? So if you have it as the first number, this is going to be an energy that you identify with more. Like of the two energies, this is going to be the one that feels more like you probably think about more, you see the world through, and you see yourself as. If you have this as the second number in your profile, this is going to be something that I'm sure it's a part of your energy, but probably only because other people have told you, or you've kind of gotten reactions from other people. You're like, I seem to affect other people this way, because this is what's known as your unconscious profile. So you're just not as privy to it on a daily basis. So when it comes to the unique five line profiles, the common thread here is that each of these profiles is going to use the five line to universalize the other number, or the other number is going to help them universalize something. So if you have a 2-5 profile, you are the Hermit Heretic. The Hermit's also known as the natural genius. It's all about natural, pure, organic talent. So you are here either to universalize your natural talent, and that talent is going to help a lot of people, or you are going to be naturally talented at something that helps you universalize what you do. Now, if you have a 3-5 profile, you are here to universalize solutions or some kind of lesson, something to help other people based on your own personal experiences and experiments. So 3-5s are the people who literally go in and try things themselves through trial and error, through probably a lot of failure or hitting bumps in the road, and then they share that solution with a bunch of people. And oh my God, we need to give 3/5s like a gold medal because they are really out here doing the work for us. Now, if you are a 5/1 profile, like myself, you are someone who is here to dig deep into something, learn a lot about it, like create some kind of foundation, get to the bottom of it, and then universalize what you've learned based on that. Then lastly, we have the 5/2 profile. And the 5/2 profile is also here to universalize its talents or use its talents to help universalize something it's doing, like the 2/5. But remember, the switched numbers here, that does make a difference in how things are going to play out for this person. So whereas the 2/5 will be really more aware of their natural talents, as aware as a 2-line can be, it's not, they're not really supposed to be that aware of it. But they'd really identify more with being like the hermit, like oh, I'm just kind of good at this person, rather than being the 5-line. The 5/2 would see themselves as the heretic, the problem solver, the solution bringer, the polarizing figure, sort of. And then they wouldn't see as much that they are naturally talented at something, or they might be drawn to something and like, I don't know, I didn't really think it was that important, right? Or they just don't identify with it as much because they're seeing the 5-line. So one thing that they do say about the 5/2 is that they are here to share those talents and use them to help other people with their solutions, but other people will only see them as like talented as something. They aren't really going to be the ones who call them out like people would for the 2/5, because the 2/5 is like, I know that like I like doing this thing and I'm good at it, and then the 5-line is the problem solver, so other people will see the 2/5 and be like, oh my God, you'll solve our problems, come help us. But with the 5/2, people see the 2-line and also like the hermit, so they may think the person doesn't want to come out and share. So the 5/2 needs to be a little bit more self-motivated. They have to be like, I have this talent, I have this thing that I want to do, so I'm going to share it with the world. Anyway, that is it. I hope this helped. If you want to dive deeper into your unique profile, remember we have these hour-long profile audios where we go into everything that you need to know, especially if you're just getting started with human design, about your profile. So I'm going to have those linked down below. And remember that you have 2 lines to your profile. So if you want to get this overview for the other line that you have, you can check out my channel where I have videos on all of those. Otherwise, you rock, and I'll talk to you next time.